Good evening, everyone. It's me again, Al Brown Spencer. I know it has been a while since last time I posted a video. For those who are watching and following, which I actually don't think there are lots of people following my videos, but yeah, to those who are following my videos, uh, today is Monday, the 21st of April 2025, and it is 19 hours 17 minutes. And I am in France, and I have been in France for over a month and a half so far. And I have been to many places and no luck whatsoever. And I wouldn't say luck because I know for sure this is deliberately done, depriving me from any chance to find a job or have a job. And any chance that I am allowed to have is just to do more testing for my temperament, for how I deal with things and so situations and so on, and nothing more than this. Here in France, France as a country is the same like Germany, a beautiful country, beautiful sceneries. The beaches here are nice as well. And they have lots of fish everywhere in the water. So when the weather is good, I can dive and spear fishing and so on, which is one good thing because this is one of my main hobbies. Have I said that here the culture is different completely, and everything has been made to be difficult for me, and I am not getting any chance whatsoever to find a job or accommodation and so on. And my conditions are deteriorating day after day. My van, me, myself, and I am getting tired physically and mentally from what is being done because the psychological work they are doing to me and the dosing, the chemical dosing, never stopped whatsoever, even until the day, or I mean today, until now, as I'm talking to you. And you can tell I had food today, and the problem is they have managed to literally manipulate people that if I ask for food and so on, they somehow manage to get the drugs in the food that I get from other people and so on, not from the shop. So in other words, as I said so many times before in my videos, it is so difficult to avoid getting dosed, and the only way to prove the dosing that I am subject to is that someone has to eat and drink exactly what I'm eating and drinking. I mean, like sharing everything I'm eating and drinking, and they must not eat or drink anything else or get exposed to any other chemicals and so on, because they will get dosed with the neutralizer and they will not get the symptoms, and I will get the symptoms, and again they will prove their point in terms of that I'm saying I'm getting dosed, and other people eating the same food and they are not. Again, as I said, it's so difficult process and so difficult and complicated way of dosing me, and it is not easy to explain to people how they do this. But as I said, I am still getting dosed until now, and I'm not being able to prove it. And I am stuck here in France. I don't have any money. I don't have a job. I don't have friends. I don't have anyone that I could say that they genuinely be good people in terms of looking after me and genuine and not manipulated. It is difficult for me here, and my conditions are getting deteriorated day after day, and I am getting tired. And for me, my campaign will never stop until I get justice. And here in France, I'm getting tired here in France in terms of even holding or putting signs on the trailer of my van and explaining to people how I need them to help and so on, and literally no one is helping. and the people here are so careful and afraid of everything. I don't know. I didn't expect this in France, but here in France, people are so afraid of everything, and they don't want to get involved in anything, and they don't want to get, you know, uh, into anyone's, problems and so on. And it is complicated here. I mean, I knew that it was going to be difficult in France, but I never expected that it was going to be, that difficult in terms of the culture, in terms of helping, and so on. Uh, I gave leaflets and contacted more than two or three uh, 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 offices of lawyers here in France when I was in Boulogne-sur-Mer, when I was in Dieppe, and when I'm here in Cherbourg. Here in Cherbourg, two or three offices for lawyers, and I contacted them, and I never got a reply, and I never got, an answer from them, and so on. And I am being deprived even of getting solicitors or lawyers to get involved, to investigate the case, and to get my rights for what was done to me in the UK, and so on. Exposing my abusers for what they did to me in the UK from all sides, including the British government and the government of the country where I was born, and so on, and other governments. This is a must for the justice I am asking for. And for me, protesting in Germany, they are very strong, and here in France, when I go to Spain, Spain is going to be the last stop for me. I'm going to ask for request asylum, and I'm going to be so active in terms of exposing my abusers and giving leaflets and giving my story to everyone everywhere I go, including, of course, the asylum application and so on. And I will settle down there, and I will carry on my fight to get justice for what was done to me, because I can never carry on my life normally without justice for what was done to me. And my abusers are not giving me any chance to get justice or carry on with my life, and so on. It's complicated and it's difficult, but I promise you, injustice is so bitter. It has a very bitter taste that only people like me who are going through injustice and who experienced, the wrath of politicians and government and so on, they will understand how bad and how bitter taste injustice has, and the impact it can, put in anyone who goes through injustice like I have been. I don't know what else to say apart from the fact that my campaign is still going on, and it seems it is obvious. I knew from the beginning, even before coming back to France and so on, that France is not the country for me. France is not a country that will support me to get justice, and I have, I am now almost certain that there were French politicians who got involved not only in what has been done to me, but also even going back to my father's days and all of this, which complicated to explain. And I don't want anyone to jump to conclusion watching this video and get confused and so on. But my situation and my story and what was done to me and my father, and so it's a big thing. I mean, not everyone can believe it, not everyone can understand it, and it's I don't know, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. But I am determined to give the reality and the truth to everyone in the world, and let the people decide. Let the people decide for themselves, and so on. Another thing that I would like to add, and I want everyone to understand this, and anyone who's watching this and believes otherwise, or expects or understands otherwise, I would like to tell you that please trust in what I'm saying, not just because I'm saying it, but this is my life, and this is what, I am trying to do in life in terms of getting justice and all of this. And I'm not going to lie about anything whatsoever. And I'm saying things as they are. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is, Anyone who's watching this, I want you to be sure that my number one enemy is the government of the country where I was born and the politicians from the government where I was born, regardless of who they are, if there is any, any relatives or, were in the government or are in the government and so on. It's complicated, but after all what was done to me, I promise you, governments and politicians, no matter who they are, once they get into the system and this circle of authorities and power and so on, uh, it's done. I mean, my father always said to me, anyone becomes part of the government and so on, they change. And you cannot trust people who work for the government. And it's not that my father put in my mind things that are not real. I promise you, years proved to me that my father, every word my father was saying to me was 100% sure, because he knew more. Everything he said to me was right, and everything who he told me was right, and so on. And I don't know, what else I can say to people to explain to them that the country where I was born is my number one enemy, regardless of the people who try to prove otherwise. So anyone in the country where I was born, any politician or anyone, even a relative, regardless how close is this relationship and so on, and they are trying to prove or trying to make it look like that, I might go back to the country where I was born, or I agree to anyone trying to do this or that, I promise you all of this is bullshit. The country where I was born and the politicians from the country where I was born are number one enemy, regardless of they trying to prove otherwise. They switch the rules between each other. So they are very good at playing the game of the good cop and the bad cop. So for them, after all what they did to me, they are trying to make it look like that especially for people who don't know the story from the beginning and what was done and all of this, they are trying to make it look like that they are trying to help me, while other governments or other people, are trying this and that. So, for example, here in France, they are literally psychologically trying to give me the feeling that, I am being questioned, or, they are questioning my motives and what I want to do, blah blah blah, and all of this. And at the same time, they are trying to make it look like that they are the ones who are helping me, protecting me, or whatever. And I promise you, all of this is just bullshit. All of this is bullshit. They all are just one team, and they are playing the good cop and the bad cop. Authorities, they do this everywhere and so on. And when I say the authorities, I mean whether authorities here in France, where in Germany, and the country where I was born, and even in the UK and so on. I've been through unbelievable stuff, and I can tell you, authorities like the police and so on, when they are ordered to do something, they just do it. They don't fucking care who they are gonna do it to. So they will beat you up. They will put you in a cell. They will abuse you. They will do whatever they are asked to do, regardless. The orders they receive is what they do. End of story. They don't question it. And it wouldn't help, of course, if you are someone look strong like me or whatever, blah, blah, blah. People, can jump to conclusion and so on. You can tell me from my voice, I've just had something to eat 15, 20 minutes ago, and straight away, everything changed. Even how I look, how I sound. It's unbelievable, unbelievable. And no one is helping me, and I cannot get any help to prove it, because they isolated me, they singled me out, they put doubts around my mental capacity and about my credibility in terms of what I'm saying about what was done to me and so on. So in other words, they are trying to literally contain any kind of a chance or opportunity for me that I can get help from someone who would believe in my case and come on board and investigate and spread the word, especially like lawyers and so on. So for me, I'm carrying on with what I'm gonna do, and when I go to Spain, I'm gonna apply for asylum as I planned to, and yeah, Spain is gonna be the last stop for me, and I will be settling down in Spain and ask for asylum, and try to find work and all of this, and yeah, and literally, you know. Uh, 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 Try to get on with my life at the same time, while trying to get justice for what was done to me, and so on, and exposing my abusers and giving all the information I have about what they have done to me and other people, and so on. Life is not easy when authorities are involved. Authorities, they literally do whatever they want, no one stops them. Human rights organizations or other organizations like this, they do nothing. They cannot do anything. Even if some of them are good people and they try to help, they are helpless. They cannot do anything. And when they try to help, they reach, like a wall, like a dead end. They cannot do anything, and so on. Especially when authorities are so powerful, like the politicians who are involved in my case, and so on, and who are doing this to me and who have done to me lots and lots of other things. The problem is they got other governments and other politicians from other governments involved in what was done to me. But regardless of how many governments and politicians from other governments got involved in my case, my number one enemy who manipulated all of this, and they are actually the hidden hand that have manipulated and moved the pieces all around me and all of this, it is the government of the country where I was born. And their politicians are so strong. Their politicians are so strong because they are members of an organization I'm going to give all the details about, and who they are, what they do, and so on. And this is a reality that everyone in the world must be aware of. Believing it or not, this is up to people, up to you. But getting to know this reality is a must. And then it's up to you to believe in it or not, or consider it another science fiction, or I don't know, thrill, like what you see on movies and so on. It's up to you. But as I said, everyone must know and must be aware of this organization and what they can do and what they have done, and so on. And I promise you, I have enough information. If people literally take it seriously and investigate and go through deep to the roots of the information I'm going to give, I promise you it's going to be a shock to lots of people who will discover the reality and the truth about these things. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and wish me good luck, because my life is passing me by while I'm trying to get justice for what was done to me. And I am not going to stop, my campaign and trying to get justice for what was done to me. And there is a message I want to deliver and send. Well, send first. Well, I don't know about if the video will be delivered or not. But there is a message I want to send to my abusers from all parties, from the country where I was born, who are responsible for everything that was done to me from the beginning, the politicians here in France, in Germany, in the UK, in Netherlands, in South Africa, who got involved, and so on, and even in Poland, or in Australia as well. Trust me, it's a big story, and big fuck up from these politicians. But anyway, my message to these politicians: maybe you think that you got away with what was done to me, and you can cover up for this, and you can get on doing what you do and abusing other people and doing this and that. But I promise you, until the last second of my life, I will do my best to expose you and expose, your people, your government, and what you have done to me and what you're trying to cover up for. And I will do my best to get justice for what you did to me, and to put you in prison for what you did to me and other people. You know yourselves, you know what you have done, You know what you deserve, and I know there is no justice in the world from what I have experienced so far, but I hope, I hope deep down inside me that maybe I'm just a little bit wrong about one thing, that justice actually exists and I'm gonna get justice. Hopefully, I was wrong thinking that justice doesn't exist, and I hope that I will get justice for everything that was done to me. And I hope that one day, with my own eyes, I will watch everywhere in the world. They know what was done and who are these politicians who got involved, what they were rules and what they have done, and above all of this, their punishment, and seeing them going to prison for what they have done to me and other people. And of course, the financial compensation, which is a must. There is no, I will never give up the financial compensation. And just to give you an idea, and specifically for any lawyers who want to get on board to investigate this case and so on, what was done to me in the UK, easily, if anyone brings the evidences and comes forward with the evidences against the police in England and what they have done, how they got involved, and other politicians, especially in the Netherlands and South Africa and Poland and so on, how they got involved in my case and how they played a great role in what was done to me. I promise you, if people bring, or anyone who has evidence like video when I was getting beaten up by the police, or videos when this was happened, that was happened, blah blah blah, specifically all what was done to me, especially in the prison and in the mental health hospital when they kept me in a mental health hospital. If anyone has any videos for what was done to me in the mental health hospital or the prison and so on, please bring it forward. Please give these evidences so I can expose my abusers and put these bastards in prison where they belong and get my compensations. And just to give you an idea about the financial uh, 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 evaluation for the compensations I would be claiming for what was done to me. Just one thing they did to me in the UK, amongst hundreds of things they did to me, like, beat up and all of this. But one thing they did to me, I swear, if someone brings evidence regarding this human rights violation that was done against me in the UK, just one thing, I can easily get few million pounds sterling for just one thing that was done to me. Imagine unbelievable stuff that were done to me. Imagine how much compensation I would get. I would be expecting to get 15 million pounds sterling at least for what was done to me. And this is beside the campaign and the propaganda all over the world to show all over the world the human rights violations I experienced in the UK and what was done to me by other governments and so on. It's unbelievable, and I hope someone will bring evidences and give it forward and so on. And another message that I want to send to any of these fucking bastards politicians, whether from the country where I was born, the UK, Ireland, Poland, or whatever the country, these politicians who got involved, if you're trying to undermine or make it look like it's nothing, or it happened to other people, or it's normal and so on, I promise you this will absolutely will get back to at you, and I promise you you will pay the price for what was done to me. Maybe you are a corrupted bastard politician and you believe that harming people or abusing people or violating the people's human rights is a normal thing, and you can do it all over again every day for other people and so on, and you get away with it. Maybe that's why you're trying to undermine my case and what was done to me, trying to make it look like it was done to other people or this or that. I'm not the only one, blah, 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 and all of this bullshit. I promise you, you will be exposed, you will go to prison, and you will regret every second of everything that you did to me and other people. I promise you, this is, in my life, this is a goal that I must achieve. Getting justice for what you've done to me and watching you going to prison and paying the price for what you've done to me and other people. And of course, the financial compensations, the values that, as I said, regardless of how many times you try to undermine it and make it look like nothing and all of this, I promise you, I will get the highest amount of compensations for everything you've done to me, and you will be exposed everywhere in the world. And no matter how much you're gonna laugh now, because you are, rest assured, you're well supported by other people and organization, and you're powerful and you are untouchable and so on. I promise you, lots of people before, they thought they are untouchables until they fell down, whether they got assassinated or they were exposed and they were sacrificed as a sheep so other people, get on. And I promise you, this is what you're going to end up with, or, what's going to happen to you. Have I said that? All what I can do is try and try and try and try until this happens, until you're exposed, until you are in prison for everything that you have done to me. I have no power. I have no authority. I am on my own. No one to support me anywhere. Lots of politicians from different countries, they all have one goal: to make it look like that, something wrong with me, or I'm claiming so, while it didn't happen, all because they want to cover for what they did to me and what their involvement in what was done to me. But I promise you, if there is justice in the world, I will get the highest compensation for what you've done to me, and I will watch you going to prison, named and shamed, you and your government and everyone who supported you to do to me what you've done to me. And I am living for this day. I'm living for the day I get justice so I can get on with my life and I can achieve my dreams in life and I can live freely and normally. Because every country I go to, you have your authorities around me and you're doing to me whatever you want. And again, definitely in the country where I was born, these bastards from these organizations, regardless of who they are. And again, if any one of the country where I was born, these politicians is a relative or someone I know, which I know there is, and I know they know this, and I'm not trying to hide it, and I'm not trying to cover up on any fucking cunt of them. You know what you have done, and you know what you deserve and what should happen to you, and you know it's coming to you regardless of how strong your organization is. And I'm going to expose you everywhere in the world. And if anyone in the government of the country where I was born, regardless if you are a big or a small person in the government of the country where I was born, and you're a genuine person and you are 100% an authentic, original person, and you've got nothing to do with this organization, I promise you, no matter how good you are or how good person you are, you don't know what this organization did. And you don't know who they are and what they are capable of. And they are from the country where you are, from the country where I was born. And if you are an original person and you are authentic and you're trying to help or whatever, just understand this. They are the ones who created all of this, and they are the ones who are running the business, regardless of they are making it look like other governments or foreign governments or Western governments are involved against you or trying to do something bad to me while you're trying to do something good to me. And all of this play that they are playing over and over and over again everywhere I go. I promise you, my number one enemy is the country where I was born, their government. And if you are a genuine person of the government of the country where I was born, just ask yourself this question. Do you know everything about the government of your own country? Do you know who is manipulating you to get involved in anything to do with me? Do you believe the bullshit they are trying to give you about that you are trying to do something good for me or protect me from other governments from another country? I promise you, I was 100% safe in the hands or in England until the government of the country where I was born turned everything around, and they used me and did all of this to me, and they used the British government. And I'm not giving excuse to the British government. As I said many times before, I will never step foot or I will never live again in England or the UK in general in any way, form, or shape, under any circumstances, and not willingly, after all what was done to me, simply because everything that was done to me in the UK was done by British people. The police officers who arrested me many times and beat me up were British. The police officers who faked and forged the dates of the arrest and the allegations and so on were British. Everything was done to me in the UK was done by British officers and personnel. And this on its own, enough for me to say I will never live in the UK again whatsoever. And for me, once I get a passport of another country in Europe, I will give up the British passport completely. And for me, going to the UK would be just for one thing, to see my daughters, if they allowed me to. If not, my daughters can come and visit me in Spain and meet me in Spain and so on. Other countries in Europe and so on, like France, I know here in France I would be in a safe hand, and Spain and so on. But the country where I was born, no, because I know what they are trying to do. And I promise you, if I said it before and I'm going to say it again, if I somehow and some way am forced to live or go back to the country where I was born, or the UK, forced, like if they force me to, I promise you I will end up in a mental health hospital or a prison or both, and in the end I will get killed or I will die mysteriously. But above all of this, if I am forced to go back to the country where I was born or the UK, I promise you, I would take my own life myself at the very first chance I can. As simple as that. Going back to the country where I was born or the UK, for me, is the end of my life. And if they don't do it, I will do it to myself. I would never go back again after all what was done to me. And for people who don't understand, why would I think this way? I promise you, if you get to know all the truth about what they have done to me, the government of the country where I was born, and in the UK, the British government, those who were involved, you will understand. And as I tried to explain many times before to lots of people, regardless of the fact that England was more of home to me than the country where I was born, and me saying that I was safe in England until the government of the country where I was born started using me and getting all of this done to me and so on, and manipulating other politicians and so on, I promise you, all what was done to me in the UK is enough reason for me not to be willing to go back to the UK or live there and so on. When you get to know the details, what was done to me in the UK, you will understand why I feel strongly like this regarding not going back to the UK or the country where I was born. People who don't know the details and the fine details, from me, not from someone else, because these bastards have put doubts around the credibility of my case, my mental capacity, many things. The way that if you are a shallow person or superficial person, they can manipulate you easily and make you look at me from the angle or the point of view that they want you to. A disturbed person who mentally ill, and cannot see it, blah, 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 and all of this bullshit they can fill your head with regarding me using their specialist, psychiatrist, and all of this, blah, blah, blah. But when you get to know the reality and the truth and the details specifically about this organization, I promise you, you will understand the reality and you will understand why I have this strong feeling about not to go back to the UK or the country where I was born and so on. And of course, another thing, some people might ask if they know more about me, why couldn't I carry on in Germany? I promise you, Germany, and specifically a small village called Zirksdorf, that was home for me after being unable, that's it, after not going back, that's it for me, going back to the UK is none, or the country where I was born, and so on. A small village called Zirksdorf in Germany was my home. But I didn't receive justice in Germany, and the government of the country where I was born, their politicians are so strong, so strong in Germany, even stronger than the German politicians themselves. And before you laugh, before you think, what is this guy saying, and so on, I promise you, get to know the details. Get to know the fine details first, and then you judge. Anyway, I couldn't carry on in Germany because of this. I didn't get justice in Germany. They got involved in my life completely, and they even used the French government. And again, this is for them, for them, this is, as I said, playing a game of the good cop and the bad cop. It's the same in Germany like here in France. They have the same power here in France as in Germany. And literally they are playing with me like a ball. They are, throwing to each other, in other words. So in Germany, they put me under their authority. Here in France, because I came back, I was here in Cherbourg and so on, and they always do this. They put doubts around things to give themselves the audacity and the right to put me under investigation. And this is exactly what they do over and over and over and over again. They seize the chance for anything I say, anything I do, anything that they can have it as an opportunity to put doubts around or to put questions about my motive or this and that, and they give themselves the right and the audacity to put me under investigation, blah, 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 and so on. Like, for example, I said I was going to Denmark, and straight away they put me in unbelievable conditions and so on. And in the end, this is because, the Danish government was trying to find out this guy is crazy or not, or blah, 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 or dangerous or not. The same, when I came here to France and so on, they put me under investigation because I was in Cherbourg, blah, 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 and I talked about the nuclear power and why it's used and how bad it is, blah, 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 and so on. So they used this against me, and they put me under investigation, and in Germany as well, they made me homeless for a year, but no jobs, blah, 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 and all of this, all under investigation. And under investigation, and they are doing whatever they want. They decide which job I can have, what happens in this job, situations they put and scenarios to test my temperament, to gather information, this and that, and the possibilities are endless. And the list of situations and scenarios and blah, 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 again, endless. And not only this, it's the same bullshit they used before. They put doubts around me and they accused me, undeclared accusations about, they accused me of being a pedophile, a murderer, a rapist, a spy, a thief, this, that. They accused me of so many things. And they use it as a reason to put me under investigation, and under the name of investigation, blah, 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 they did whatever they want, and they are doing whatever they want. Made me homeless, keep me homeless, do whatever they want to me, blah, 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 and all of this. So